And we are live. We are live. Shout out to all the biological dads who don't do nothing but get all the credit. Y'all the real MVPs. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. All right, let's start the show.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
All right. We are in. Pilar camera just went on the fritz. We got black screen. I'm starting it off right there with black screen. But let me shout out to those of you that make it in early. Shout out to my man RW in the building. Says salute BR. This ought to be a good one. I hope so. I certainly hope so. Shout out to Rational B. He says modern men ask for little and get even less. It's long past time for men to stand up for themselves and other men. That is sort of just the theme of, what my channel is about. Speaking up for men, our views, our perspectives, our insights. That's what my channel is about. That's definitely what it's about. But shout out to you. Rational B in the building says, watch The Post-Feminism Man by Barber. What is that, a documentary? I don't even know what that is. Watch
Barbarossa.
Barbar. Oh, that's what they. Oh, that's Barbarossa's nickname. Barbar.
Exactly.
I don't even. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I'm familiar with the name Barbarossa, but I couldn't pick him out of a lineup. But all right. So needless to say, I don't watch his content, but I'll check that out if it's interesting. I mean, if you're suggesting it, I'll check it out. Shout out to Nobility at Best. Says this is what happens when a man does what a woman says. That whole saying, that old adage, a real man would. But he says what a real man would do. Rational B in the building says sign language, shame, insult, guilt need to be right. Shout out to late great Kevin Zambies on that one. BL in the building says Bernard is on real dad time. Hella late. Yes, you are right. And Game Changer saying I stole his stuff. No, sir. I did see that you're going live on this tomorrow, but have you know I dropped a pre-record this morning on this same topic, and I recorded that pre-record on Friday. So I just now put it out this morning. So I've been ahead of you on this. But shout out to Game Changer. Hopefully you'll be joining the panel. Shout out to Clue. Shout out to Celine. Shout out to Gail at Night. Shout out to LB Crypto in the building. Says this happened to my dude. He found out he wasn't the father. Oh man, found out he wasn't the father, and his baby mama still held liable for a wedding, and she held a picture of her grandfather to walk her down the aisle. Whoa!
Wow!
That's different. That's something different.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to everybody in the building. All right. Let's get this thing started. Let's cut the music. I'm glad we are joined by LAR Movement, who did a very moving live stream. I almost wanted to reach out to you for a whole separate one-on-one interview on that when you was talking about your custody situation.
Yeah, I'm sorry, LAR.
I don't even know if you want to even discuss that any further, but yeah, because that was moving. I was fighting the air like Cuba Gooden for you, man. That was a
You was fighting to get something from your lady afterwards. That's what that fighting the air is for.
What'd you say?
You was just trying to get something that night. That's why he fought the air.
no, that's why Cuba was fighting the air.
Exactly.
Cuba was trying to get at Nia Long that night, but.
I'm so fucking tired of this shit. Fuck this.
Yeah. I was fighting that air for you, man. But no, I'm glad you're here on this one. I'm gonna roll the clip for those of you who haven't seen it. I know it has made the rounds. And most people have seen it. But just to ease into the show, I'm gonna just roll the clip. It's about 6 minutes long, and then we'll go from there. Pilar, Earth to Pilar. Your camera is not working.
She's having some technical problems. She said she's gonna try to go over to her computer.
Okay, and don't forget her. Well, check the private, Jackie. Check the private. Yeah, I think you already know what I'm talking about. But all right, let me get that ready to go. All right, here's a clip. That's that everybody been talking about. Here it is. Like to hear it. Here it go.
She wants her real daddy to walk her down the aisle. Now let me give you a little backstory on me and my stepdaughter. She just graduated from university, which I paid for. Now, she went to an in-state university, but it still cost me about $40,000. Now, I also bought her a car. I bought her a car straight after high school. That way she could go back and forth to school. I bought her a car. She still lives with me and her mother. She does not have a job. Now, she's set to be married on August the 8th. And for the past 6 months, that's all her mother been talking about doing. Being occupied with, being consumed most of their time. Now, her daddy, he don't contribute to not 1 cent on her. Not her education, not child support, which is partly her mother's fault because, she didn't fight for that. I guess that's just what the settlement was. And he only around to make promises. I do that for you, I do this for you, and then take off. And then she'd be heartbroken. But she adores her father, right? So, like I said, she's set to be married in August. And the wedding venue, I told them they could have it in my home. The wedding venue can hold about 250 people, right? Now I said, hey, I got a list of 20 people that I want to come to the wedding. I'm paying for this at my house. I want these 20 people to come. Do y'all know Saturday, I see one of my friends at the golf course, right? He's supposed to come to the wedding. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna see you at the wedding, right? He said, I only got an announcement. I didn't get an invite. I'm like, nah. I'll let my girlfriend and stepdaughter know to send out the invitations on these few people, and you're supposed to get an invite. He said, I got something, but it was an announcement. So we walked to his car because I want to check, right? And sure enough, it was an announcement. So I went and talked to my girlfriend and said, did you invite those 20 people to the wedding that I told you about? Man, she didn't invite none of them. She said 250 people was a little tight, and I don't think we can get your 20 people in there. Man, I was pissed. And the people that were supposed to come, they pissed as well. Then she gonna say if any of the people that we already invited don't RSVP, then we'll get some of your people in here. I'm like, what? Man, that's crazy, man. Don't even worry about it, man. I'll just be mad. All right? So now, the crazy part about it is, when I check the invitations, they don't even have my name on them. They have her real daddy and her on the invitation that I paid for. I paid for these invitations. How you got a real daddy on there, her mama on there? Cool. Couple days later, I'm hosting the venue at my house, hosting the wedding family at my house, okay? It's me, stepdaughter, girlfriend, groom, and their parents, right? Trying to help everybody get real acquainted. Then a surprise guest shows up, my stepdaughter's real daddy, and I'm like, You know what? Cool. He probably just coming to the wedding, right? But tell me why my stepdaughter proceeds to stand up and the wedding that I'm paying for, that in my house, the daddy don't do nothing for you, is giving you away. And they were just so happy and smiling. Yay, great. Inside, I was fuming. Inside, I wanted to cry or punch somebody. Probably wanted to do both, honestly. So I took that time to stand up and give a toast as well. I said, I owe the groom and the bride a deep debt of gratitude because they have opened my eyes tonight. Everybody at the table was just smiling. They have let me know that my position in this family is not what I thought it was. You should have saw the frowns, man. Now they mad. It done got serious. I let them know I am not the godfather or, the head of the family that I thought I was, the loved one that would be seeked out in times of need. Nah. I realized I'm an ATM. Yeah. So, since I have been replaced as host of the wedding, I shall be giving my financial duties to the new host. And I will back out monetarily. Yeah. Yep. Now, after the announcement, a whole lot of snickering was going on around the table, right? A lot of mumbling. But they
You're muted.
I'm muted. My bad. All right, it's some more to it, but that pretty much sums it up right there. It was a little bit more to it, but we're gonna stop it right there. We're gonna stop it right there, and gonna get into the conversation. Gonna get into the. Okay, that one was RM. I'm no fan of that clip.
Oh, sorry.
Let's go Nuggets.
Who just said let's go Nuggets? Oh, because LeBron was in. Okay, now I get it.
Wait, that's what I thought.
You know what, LAR? I'm not even gonna turn on my TV to watch the game tonight. And even if the Lakers win, I'm not even gonna watch game 5. If they had to win game 4 and game 5 for me to get back interested. If they make it to game 6, I'll start back watching. But I'm pretty much.
You're not a true fan. You're not a true fan.
No, I'm not.
You gave up too easily.
No, I'm not a true fan. All right, LAR in the movie, LAR movement in the building. LAR movement in the building. Going to you first. What you got? What you got on this one, man? What you got on it?
I'm gonna get to the topic, but first and foremost, I seen that guy online before, so I think it's just a story that he's reading. Because if you look behind him, it's a family picture, and it look like some small kids in there, and a whole family. So he's probably reading the post off of Reddit. Because the other part is, I ain't never seen nobody with a Hotep beard play golf, so I don't believe the golf.
Well, I'll say this. I knew. Okay, just full disclosure, that it's not real. And I knew that when I first saw it, because I always can tell. There's little telltale signs. He had a YouTube friendly opener, like a hook to draw you in. And like when it first started out, it was in the original video. It was like, "Am I an a-hole for not doing such and such and blah blah blah?" I'm like, okay, so he's being cognizant of being monetized. It's like everything about it reeked content. So I was already questioning it. And he is a social media personality that does other stuff on social media. So I was already skeptical of it, but it was an interesting enough story to where we can cover it as if it is true. But yeah, I'm very skeptical of it. I'm very skeptical of whether or not it's true. But anyway, from just what was said there, because those are legitimate situations where people be legitimate in the situation where, there's the stepdaddy, the daddy who stepped up, and then there's the biological dad who who do what he do when he do it, God damn it. And so in that situation, what you got on it, LAR? Because I mean, it's some biological dads who do need some more respect put on their name, but then You got a stepdaddy who did it all, and he wants his respect. And like I said in my pre-record earlier, it's like being a stepdad is only beneficial to the kids in the equation and that woman in the equation. The only thing that could be possibly beneficial for the man in the equation is if he gets the respect that comes with it. But if he's not getting that respect, it's just a pointless. It's a bankrupt industry. So I understand him wanting the respect. So I mean, one easy thing is just men stop doing that. But I want to save my opinion. I want to save my opinions. Go ahead, Eliar. What you got on this?
Okay. When it comes to stepdads, I'll say some stepdads got this major problem. Stepdads want biological dads' respect when biological dads are there, and that in itself is disrespectful. You get what I'm saying? So if the dad's not there and you want dad respect, that's understandable. But if dad's there and you know dad's in the picture and you know dad's around and dad does this and that and you still want that, you need to be stumped out. Because a lot of stepdads, guys who play stepdad, have children of their own, and they wouldn't want another guy playing that role with them. So, that part about stepdads is hypocritical. And the other thing is, using like this story as a reference, who told you to do all that stuff? You knew you was a stepdad in the first place. Who told? And because when you went by the whole story, he was like, "Well, I'm not married. It's really my girlfriend. It's not my kid." So what are you complaining about? So basically, what you telling me is, let's see, how can I? The box in the throat so good, you paying for college for kids that ain't yours, and paying for weddings for people that's not your kids, and then you mad at everybody else? It's like, bro, come on now. At what point are you an idiot?
I can tell you, dudes who do that, they don't think it all the way through like that. They just don't. And so when you say why you doing that, what you expect, they expected it all. They expected the full glory of being the patriarch of a family that wasn't their family, and they find out the hard way that it ain't their family, but their finances, sweat and labor and all of that is still needed for this family.
So he was a patriarchal boyfriend?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna go to Game Changer on this. I hope Pilar come back. She was really the one we needed on this one, because we don't know this for sure. I think she, based off everything we heard in the last show, she on the hunt for a high value stepdaddy in her life right now. So we really need her to come back on this. We really need her to come back on this one. But GC, just so you know, I don't know if you heard me when I said it. I ain't steal your shit, because I did a pre-record on this earlier. I know you're doing a live on it tomorrow. I recorded a pre-record on this Friday and then finally uploaded it on today. So I was like 48 hours ahead on this story. I just was late putting it out. But so I didn't formally steal your stuff, but you about to I'm about to rudely ask you to spoil your show for tomorrow. Give your take on this.
Yeah, no worries. No, I have a very long take on it, so it's not a major thing. But the thing is that what bothers me about this entire scenario, one of the main things that bothered me about this entire scenario. Well, let me get into that. First, I want to ask Brenda, are you doing anything spectacular, or is that just like all your titties?
I gained weight since the very first time I appeared to y'all on air, and so intentionally gaining weight. Now I'm intentionally losing weight.
Wait.
But the first thing to go is just, huh?
You're losing a flip and float? What do you mean?
Oh no. No, I was trying to figure out how I would look if I was to just gain weight based on the muscles that I accumulated like within the 2-3 years. And so, I mean, technically, I'm still like,
translate.
yeah, I'm still okay. It's just now I'm a little bit more,
translation.
I want to go back to my.
No. She's saying, okay, before she was carrying a lot of weight and she was flabby with it. Now that she's added muscle, she want to gain that weight back to see if she could be thick for the first time.
Yes, exactly that. No, exactly what you said. Yeah. And so that has been my thing. And so it worked, but I just need to continue. Yeah.
Well, it's not up to me, it's up to you, dude. But if I had to choose between Flip and Float and Tiggo Bitties, I choose Flip and Float. That's just
me. No, yeah, he chooses the same. He's like, I would rather have you like smaller, like the way I found you. I was like, all right, which is no problem at all. It's just high intensity with cardio and stuff like that. So now I'm like running every morning, 3 out of 7 days. So, and then now I'll start to do weightlifting like in the evening time, and so every other day.
Game changer. What made you even ask? Like, what did you notice that made you even ask the question? Because like
her titties are bigger than what I experienced, and what happens sometimes.
Okay, do y'all got anything I need to tell?
No, not what I experienced. No, my mistake. But from what I've seen.
No, it's even poking out, so I have to like adjust it properly.
When you was late for the show, she was like, "Oh, he's probably working out." I was like, "How you know Game Changer schedule like that? If y'all got something y'all need to tell, like, I mean, either y'all need to come out or just stop telling on y'all. One or the other."
Nah, don't start.
Okay, I forgot the space we was in. I can't even joke like that. They gonna
you
take
can't.
that.
They gonna clip that.
Yeah.
No,
right.
my dude actually watches it. He knows exactly what will be happening. So.
No, but the reason why I ask is because sometimes women, like when you see a change in titty matter, it's usually like the result of like push-up bras and shit like that, or like the dresses that be really frilly at the top to make the titties look. So I'm asking, like, is this an illusion? But no, she actually.
No, I did gain weight. Yes.
No, that makes sense. No, I was just curious.
Yes. So you're right.
All right.
No worries. Okay. I noticed stuff.
All right. So as far as the subject, Game Changer, would you like to speak on anything other than Brenda's titties?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Okay.
All right. So the main concern here, one of the concerns that I had about that was the post-18 support. The post-18 support. I mean, I would assume that a stepdaddy's responsibility is done the moment you are able to stop claiming them on your taxes. Like, I assume that that's when it's over. But he seemed to continue to support with the car, the education, and all this stuff, like, after the fact. I think that may be a little excessive, especially if he has his own kids, because that is support that's being taken away from his kids.
Yeah, agreed. Pilar, welcome to the show. So I take it you saw the clip. You weren't here when we played the clip, but I do know. I think Jackie sent you the clips and everything, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you did see the clip. You did hear the story. All right, your take on it. What do you get?
So mine is short and sweet. I do believe that I can see why he was hurt for sure. As a father figure who pretty much helped raise her, not only emotionally but also financially for all these years, while the absentee father, if you will, paid not a red cent towards anything that she had going on. I definitely understand why he was hurt. I think for there to be a disrespect, I would call it I won't even call it a disrespect. For there to be a slight where he was not chosen to be the person who walked her down the aisle, she has something else going on, and it might not be against him. It might just be, she's still clinging to the hopes of her father being this father figure in her life. And I hate to say it, but this is her day. It's her wedding. It's her one wedding. So if she chose to have her father there to walk her down the aisle, ultimately as the bride, that's her choice. But I 100% understand why he would feel a way about it. Now, hopefully, as a mature man, you know, he doesn't go about it and say, well, forget this wedding. I'm not taking care of anything. But I would have the conversation and say, hey, I'm paying for your daughter's wedding, 100%. It's at my home. I need some type of support on from your side, if that's a possibility.
Well, I don't know if the clip Jackie sent you was the right one or the full one. He did say that at the end of the clip. He did say he was pulling his money out of the wedding. Like they were at the pre dinner or whatever, family gathering dinner thingy majiggy, and then while they were all there and everybody was, you know, doing toast and all that, and there he did a toast and he basically said that I'm pulling out of this thing. I'm not being treated like the head of this family, the patriarch of this family. I'm going to put that financial responsibility on the person who y'all are treating like that. He could take care of the wedding. So he pulled out out.
Sure. Now I could see that it's a little controversial, but I could see why he would feel that way. And he didn't even get to invite his small number of people he didn't even, wasn't made any space for him to feel like he was any part of this wedding. He had none of his invites honored. Out of 250 people, the fact that they couldn't honor his 20 or whatever the number was, like there's a disrespect there for sure. The young woman, she's an adult, but as a mother, I would have taken her to the side and done all I could to instill, that respect. But she's an adult at this point, so it's like she's gonna make the choice she's gonna make. So I don't blame him for taking his money out. I don't blame him for that.
Pilar, can I ask you something? Because you're the only one who's a mother on this panel, so I'm curious. Like, it is understood by men that being a stepfather is a thankless job. And this is proof of that, meaning that you don't get as much out of it as you put in, and you don't get as much out of it that you would have gotten out of it were it your own child. That being the case, well, why did you look like that, Jackie?
Because LB Crypto's
that comment on the screen said baby father still hitting.
Oh, no, I don't think so. But no, that being the case, the benefits that he's not receiving from, being a father, but basically he's receiving all of the responsibility and few of the rewards. Mm-hmm. The rewards then should come from the mother. So I ask you, when you find your future stepfather, what additional rewards will you give him for stepfathering your children?
Well, it would be the same as so there's already someone that's in my life who assumes the role because he understands, like, when you enter into the life of a woman who has children, you guys are a package deal, and he's already maturely of the mindset that, hey, if this thing is going to work, I have to treat these children as though they are my own. Now, I raised my children a bit different than modern society, so my children respect to the fullest the man that's in my life. So it would never be a question. But if something like this were to happen in my life, and my daughter were to say, hey, forget stepdad, he's chopped liver, I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna pay the honor to the father who was not around, at least financially, that I wouldn't feel comfortable with that. I would have a sit-down conversation with their stepfather and see how we work it to where he felt less disrespected. That would just have to be a personal thing. I can't really speak on how I handle it, because I just can't even imagine that. It's just a really nasty situation, and it stemmed from deeper than that. She obviously has a little trauma with her father, her biological father, that she's trying to mend with this wedding. And then she obviously has an issue to where she doesn't, see her stepfather as the father of her life, even after all these things that he's done. That's a personal problem. They need to figure that out. But she's grown now. It's like she out of the house. That's something, after this wedding. So I don't know what I would do. I don't know what I would do. But that's why I try to nip that at the bud. You got to get that early, because the foundation is everything. Yeah.
Well, no. Here's what I mean by the question. I think I was being unclear. with the question. So, say you have two people without children, right? And they're together, and then the woman tells the guy that she's pregnant, right? And then there's that jolt of emotion, fear of new responsibility and stuff like that. But at least he has 9 months to prepare for it, right? You hit him with that day one. Hey, you want to go out for some coffee? I got kids. So you hit him with that day one. He don't have a 9 months to prepare. The kids are already there and they're not his. That is an additional responsibility. Now, what I ask you is, do he get, okay, because the man should get the big piece of chicken, but do stepfathers get the bigger piece of chicken? Like, what do he get to make up for the fact that he is taking on these additional responsibilities from you? That's what I'm saying.
For me personally, not the kids.
Yeah, from you.
Any support, I don't know.
You can teach
any amount of support. Yeah. I would say any amount of support that he possibly needs. And just speaking from my own experiences, any amount of support that he possibly needs to make sure that this runs smoothly as a unit, I'm willing to offer that. I do believe, like, for example, my children are my responsibility primarily. So, I'm not looking for a bailout. Even if I have a new man in my life, I'm not looking for that. It just so happens, the man that I've dealt with, that I deal with, he takes that burden off of me, so to speak, if you want to call it that. But at the end of the day, those are my children. So it's like, to me, I don't see it as a burden. It's just it's a choice I made, and these are my children, they're my responsibility. But he came in, he swooped in like a real man. I was like, hey, I love you, I love them, I'm taking it. So anything he would need and support, 100% is his. Any way that I can't really define it, but anything that he would need personally, if he brings it to my attention, like, hey, babe, I need this, I need that, in support of you all as a family unit, that's going to be done. It's as good as that.
I'm laughing at that, swooped in like a real man.
It was he.
Yeah, that's just what it is. It's hard it's hard.
Did you read that comment earlier? Someone made that comment earlier in the chat.
Oh, did they? I don't know. It's hard being a step parent. It's definitely got to be harder being a stepfather, because
it is.
Automatically you assume the role of the head of the household, and this is not even a household that you actively made. But if you make that choice, I think it takes a very strong man to be able to make that choice and to thrive at it, and to not, do the typical, it ain't my concern, that's not my business. Like, yeah, it takes a lot. I give accolades and kudos to any man that steps in that role and holds it down.
You give chicken and occasional threesomes. Like, what do he get more? What do he get more? That is.
I don't have an answer, because what does that mean? What is more?
That is part of what makes stepdaddyhood so horrible.
Like, I don't know. I have no answer for you. I don't know. What would you ask for?
Scenario, because this would be your life as a stepdad.
What would you ask for as more? What would I'm going to turn the question.
I think that's the problem.
What would you ask for?
I said bigger pieces of chicken and occasional threesomes. That's what I said.
Then guess what? If that's what you would want, and your woman was like, "Man, you're my man,"
that's okay.
You get a bigger piece of chicken and threesome.
No. Not a threesome, not singular. Threesome Thursdays. Threesome Thursdays is part of the deal. Stepdaddyhood is for life. Threesome Thursdays should be for life, and you must maintain your flip and float. Absolutely.
All right.
I think it's two problems. Like,
stepdaddyhood.
One of the things that goes on with this is stepdaddies become stepdaddies based on a lie majority of the time. The mother and the kids are lying about the situation with the father for the most part to make themselves victims. That's what normally happens.
Starting off.
The second part, because this is how a lot of people fall out, because they find out it's a lie down the line.
So, LAR, you
10
said
years.
The kids are in on it, the lie?
Yeah.
especially at the age of reasoning and understanding, because they're
So-
working with that. Hey, you need to say nice things so that we can keep this man in our life.
And the second thing is, it becomes a problem like what GC and Pilar were talking about, when as a single mother, you should know the extra things you need to do. You shouldn't have to ask the guy, well, what do you want? It's like, well, you already know he's at a disadvantage in the situation, so he got to come up with something to make it advantageous. You should have something at the door, so
No, because
that
it
becomes
depends
the
on
issue also.
it depends on the individual, and I think it's like, for example, Game Changer said for him, he would want the bigger piece of chicken and what'd you say, threesome Thursdays.
Yeah, but
that's not what my man's gonna want. So that's my thing. It's gonna be a case by case basis. That's all I'm gonna say on it.
That's a problem. The problem is the waiting for it to be in a case by case basis. You should already have some built-ins. We're gonna have to do this.
No, I just think the problem is that my take on it does not align with your standards and your take on it. So you're gonna find
I'm really talking in a general sense.
If it's working for the two, you see what I'm saying? It's working for the two. If it doesn't work, we need to get to the drawing board and figure out why it's not working. So there has to be a safe space for you guys to communicate between.
This is a general thing. This not a you thing.
I know. I get. Hold on, wait. Well, let me say this. It's you're right, LAR. It is general, but I think the problem is, generally speaking, the men who take on that stepdaddy role, they don't fully look at it the way that they should. Like what he's doing for her is already above and beyond. Like he's giving her just the ultimate bailout plan. So however she would regularly be acting, just how she just regularly act in a relationship, yeah, she should, and should is a word that but she should be going above and beyond whatever his above and beyond is. But the problem is, generally, they don't even they just happy to be getting some semi-regular in-house pussy. That's just what it is. All right.
Not to Steve Harvey.
Go ahead, Jackie. What you got on this? Well, hold on, let me get to the super chats real quick. Real quick before they get too far uphill. Kevin C in the building. He says, I saw the exact situation with a Brad who went through this with a white woman. Is this an actual event or a skit? I do think it's a skit. I have my reasons why I think he was just, trying to go viral, but it's still a good conversation piece, even if it was made up. But he says the story is a strong.
These last $2, I'm not gonna lose.
And RM, I think you played the wrong one. I thought that was, if I had a green one, that's $5. But okay, it's all good. It's all good. Dane C in the building says, salute BRGC, Brenda Jackie, and LAR. He just didn't care to say hi to Pilar. Well,
these last $2, I'm not gonna.
Hey, Dane.
Pilar wasn't on the panel at the time that one was sent. But Kevin C back in the building again. He says the playoffs and respect for black stepdads is not what it was 30 to 40 years ago. I said the payoff. See, my mind is on the game. I said playoffs. The payoff and respect for black stepdads is not okay. That's small to me. I'm sorry. I know I need glasses. It's not what it. He did write that wrong. Is not what was. I think you mean it's not what it was. I already need glasses, so y'all can't give me typos when y'all know I can't see to begin with. God damn. But shout out to Kevin C. Said that it's not what it was 30 to 40 years ago. That's the reason that many black men refuse stepdad duties. Absolutely. All right, and pull up that last one. I don't have that last one, RM. And he says, your man wants you to still be the woman he fell for. Thank you for the super chat, dude.
These last $2, I'm not gonna lose.
In the building says, salute, polar. That's what we calling her, Polar.
It's Pilar.
All right. Go ahead, Jackie. You got the floor. You got the mic. What's your general take on this? I heard you trying to get another question in, GC. Just hold your thought on that. Go ahead, Jackie.
Okay, so I mean, me and Brenda kind of talked about this in the bag. It's weird. LAR brought it up that he's not married to the woman, so it's very strange that he would take on these duties and he's not even married to her. Like they didn't even feel the need to get married in order for him to call himself a stepdad. So that was already a weird spot for him to be shelling out so much money for a kid that he's not even married to their mom. And then on top of that, it's like she's a grown woman, but he's saying that her dad is always disappointing her. How does he even know what's going on in their relationship as a grown woman? Like they could have a relationship that he don't even know about anymore because she can talking to him outside of them even knowing what their conversations are about. So it was really weird to me. And I was telling Brenda, like when I was younger, when my parents split up, I didn't see my dad that much. But now my dad calls me all the time. So it's different as an adult. Like, so it was just a weird situation. Like you don't even know their relationship at this moment. So that might be the reason why she wants him to walk her down the aisle.
You raise one good point I didn't think of, is that if she's all the way in college and everything, a relationship with the dad could have developed. I do know a lot of people who do that when the relationship is broken as kids. Eventually, sometime later in life, they get cool, they get tight. And like I did the stepdaddy dance for, like people who know I got married real young at 19. Don't get married at 19, fellas. But I got married real young at 19, and so yeah, my stepson, when I forgot.
Wait,
he was probably 14. You didn't know that?
No. I know you had sons.
I told you that.
Know you had stepson.
Oh yeah, I told you that. Yeah,
you got two boys, right? That's yours.
I have two biological sons, one non-biological son.
You never mentioned the non-biological sons, even our private talks. That's the thing.
I'm pretty sure I have people who know, like,
Yes.
like I mean, well, I don't mention as much now because that's probably why I don't mention it now, because he's literally not around. My two biological sons live with me, so that's probably why I don't. Ever since I've been on YouTube, he's been pretty much grown. Mm-hmm. Give or take. So that's probably why I don't mention as much. But I've done content. I'm sorry, what's that?
Did you get Threesome Thursday out the deal when you were 19?
I'm not telling anything to people I know listen. So not Threesome Thursday. No.
All right.
Threesome
as long as you got something out of the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever I got, it for damn sure wasn't weekly, but I mean, shit happened. It was, but anyway. All right. Goddamn. Shit. I'm LAR. I know you said in the back you want to put a spin on this. I'm gonna go to you. We just got to hear Brenda's full take on it. But I know the only reason I brought up stepson because like him and he like after he graduated high school, he went and lived with his biological dad, and so relationships do get established between the biological kid and the kid and the biological parent that they weren't around as much growing up. Those relationships do get tightened up when they get grown. So there's that. So that is something that I didn't average into the equation that I should have. So good catch on that one, Jackie. But go ahead, Brenda, give your take on it.
No,
you got it.
So whenever I actually watched it the very first time, the first thing that caught my, I was feeling for him until he said, "My girlfriend." I was like, "So you're not married?" And so everything that he said kind of went out the window, but I still continued listening. And what as you know, Jackie and I were talking about, I said like that's kind of his fault because he kept on giving, and who's going to say no, especially as women? Like if you want to give, yeah, we're going to accept it. And then on top of that, as my men always say, it ain't tricking if you got it. So 10 years of, you know, giving from college education to a car, and she's still living with you. All right. Why did you not wife up the girlfriend? Why is the girlfriend not wife? Because it's all about categorizing. So if your girlfriend became a wife, that's a whole different responsibility and obligation that you can actually take on. But if you're still the boyfriend, but she says you're still the head of the household, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But I guess it's their type of dynamic. But I do have to resort to, there's a lot of trauma bonds in there, mainly from the daughter, is this expectation. So in reality, the real dad is actually failed everywhere, but he shows up at the end, you know, to win. But the stepdaddy who stepped up, the stepdaddyhood is actually very hard. Who stepped up is not going to get any type of credit at the end. And all he wanted, according to the story, all he wanted is the 20 people he had, his name on the guest list, his name on the program, right? Mm-hmm. And just recognition. Like he's not asking for a lot. He didn't want to
eat none of the food at the wedding and be like Will Smith and Hitch when he ate that fish or whatever. He said it was food on the menu. It was food on the menu he was allergic to. He had an outbreak.
That's the other thing. It's like
he didn't want an outbreak at the wedding.
There was no consideration of him, and so the question becomes like, did he know what kind of role he was playing, like the whole time they were in a relationship? And then it goes back to I think the mom, like, to me, the whole relationship was messed up. It was a red flag from the beginning, because like, and especially with Step, this is why I would rather create my own nuclear family, and any type of blending of the families, like Step, it becomes a harder dynamic. It becomes like, this is something that we have to work extra hard, more than just a nuclear family, because I know like I need to have a husband and then I can have my kids, because I have to put my husband first and then the kids come next. And so if it was the other way around, like, okay, so let's say I ended up having a kid and then all of a sudden I have a husband, but the kids are not his. So it messes up the dynamic of hierarchy, I guess you could say, like chain. And so to me, I don't know, red flag from the beginning. And then on top of that, 250 guests in your house, that means you got a lot of money. And so why her? Like, why did you stick to her the whole time? And if you're going to give, you have to give without expecting anything back. Like, unfortunately, like he kind of put himself in, it's that expectation. He shouldn't manage his expectation from the beginning. But also I have to fault the daughter. Like, you're grown up, like give credit to the dad who stepped up. And then if you want the biological dad to walk you down the aisle, you can, but you still got to roll it back to the dad who was there the whole time, put you through college, etc.
But the solution you had a good solution.
Oh yes.
Backstage, you said.
Yeah. So I had the solution of so having both of the dads walk you, but one has to start the journey, the biological dad. And so, but because he dropped off, he has to fall off. And so
that's disrespectful too. Like,
no. You start with both dads.
The stepdad go come up and stiff arm him, like, sit your ass down.
No. Walking down the aisle, because at some point she has to be alone. So you start with the biological dad, walks halfway, and then gets the dad who stepped up to walk the rest of the path. And then both of them, I mean, they have to let her go to the new husband now.
Oh, I thought you meant like side.
This is madness. This is Sparta.
That's
Yeah,
how he gonna do it.
yeah, I had the idea
The
with both of
stepdad,
them,
he
but-
gonna step up and Spartan kick his ass, and then finish
And
walking.
so, like, because males are very competitive, they're not going to share. They're not going to share, light. And so, technically, in our tradition, like, actually, the mom and the dad walks us down the aisle, and not just the dad. And I think that's more of an American thing, a westernized thing. It's mom and dad because you're leaving the whole family. And so, I don't know. I think the walking both of them, but he's not going to share with the dad, the biological dad who shows up whenever he feels like it. So,
all right,
one after the other.
No,
I've seen some situations where both dads walk the girl all the way down the aisle instead of dropping one off early.
And you got to.
That's a funny shit. But
like this is my stop. I get off right here.
He's like,
I finished the rest.
You was with her for like the first 3 years of her life. So you gonna walk 3 aisles of these pews, and I'm gonna sit your ass down and walk the rest of the way. That's how y'all trying to do it. But
well, I think one of the mistakes that the panel is making is calling it a gift. It's not a gift. You want stuff. Just like if you give a politician a gift, of money, or helping them win an election, you want something. You want them to make a law in your particular favor or in your company's favor, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's implied. Listen, LAR, Bernard, if I pay for either of y'all weddings, I am the best man. And I don't want to hear you say something like, oh yeah, but there was this dude that saved my life and I finally got it. I don't care. Like, yeah, my little brother just got out of jail just for this event, and they're gonna put him back, and he's never. I don't care. I'm the best man. I don't give a fuck. Like, I paid for it. I am the best man. I pick any position I want to be in if I pay for it. If I want to be the priest, I can be that. All
right, but no. Here's the difference, though. You paying for it, then clearly you head honcho in that situation. The stepdaddy is paying for it. He think he head honcho in that situation, but this is why you don't do it, because you can't help whatever biological, genetic, hardwired attachment she got to the man whose semen she came from.
I understand that. But what I'm saying is I don't care. Like I would.
He got every right to not care, but she feel.
I would completely understand her biological desire to have this man walk her down the aisle. I don't care about that. Understand that I bought the aisle and I will walk you down it. Like that's how that is. I bought the aisle. I bought the house that the aisle is sitting on, and I bought the seats that everyone is sitting in, and I get to walk you down the aisle. And if I want to do it in a Spider-Man costume, then you got to deal with it because I bought your fucking wedding. Like, that is how that works.
Spider-Man costume.
And also, I think it's mom's fault. It's mom's fault. Because it was a transactional relationship from the beginning. He led with his wallet. The mom accepted. It's a mom's fault, in my opinion.
No. The mom was fully in on it. When you watch the video to the end, you can see the mom sort of like, I think that was LAR that said it. And when he said it, it didn't really click. But in this situation, I see it. Like the mom and the kid, they be colluding together. Like they both understand the score. But LAR, you said you had something with this where you said in the back that you wanted to put a new spin or something on this. You want us to put a spin on it. Go ahead, you got it.
Simple. How far do you think this story would go if the girl was a boy? Do you think the stepdaddy would have bought the boy a car and paid for the boy's college and let the boy stay in the house? And then if the boy got married, help pay for the boy's wedding and not get any food out of it? How far do you think this story will go? Because I'm pretty sure that boy still be walking.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that's part of the whole tradition, like the father of the bride or the bride's family pay for the wedding.
No. Forget the wedding. How many boyfriend, husband / stepdaddies gonna pay for their stepson who's actually not his son because he ain't married car at 16 or 18? None. How many people you know that's going to pay for the boy to go to college? None. How many people you know, if he came home from college that he paid for, will let him stay in the house? None.
No, that is true.
This will be a black man in a horror movie.
That is true. That's true. That's true.
Well, no, in the black community, we do over support the daughters and under support the sons, just so the daughters could later say, "Oh, we killing it. We the most educated," you know, and then stunt on the dude with the car that they stepdaddy bought him. Like they, you know, like nigga, you got a 2010 Hyundai. You know, look at what I'm rocking. Like, you know, they will do that. Stunt with other people's goods, whether it's the federal governments, whether it's their stepdaddies, whether it's their real daddies. But, you know, for whatever reason, we have a tough love approach to black boys, and something like we want them to lose. So,
yeah. You know, actually, I just realized, I think in my culture, like guys are supposed to go figure it out. And for women, we're given everything. And so, like, yeah, you can.
I forgot what culture is this. I forgot.
I would say Kenyan culture, and because I was trying to think of all my boy cousins and how they kind of got around to where they are, and most of it is like they have to figure it out, while we, the females, like we were kind of given everything. We were told that education is everything, and so we're catered to. Yeah, we're cushioned. But guys, they got to go figure it out. But whenever it comes to a tradition of marriage, like we're the one. I think the female side usually pays for, pays for the wedding. But there's a dowry that gets exchanged from the men to the females. Yeah, there's a payment. I think the guy to
the female. Yeah. Yeah. And that is a problem.
Because you're taking an asset away from the family.
And what she described is the key difference between functional societies and semi-functional societies or developing societies. That is the more prosperous ones, you know, and I'm not talking about just in recent history, I'm talking about throughout ancient history. The more prosperous ones tend to champion the boys. They tend to put all the money and resources and stuff like that to the boys, and to assure that they become strong heads of households, because they know if they put the same money, time, and resources into the girls, they grow up and say, "I don't need a man." You see, no matter how rich you make a man, he really don't grow up and say, "I don't need a bitch." He don't. You know, he
it's actually to afford a bitch. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like
it's true.
He puts himself into a position to, you know, not only be a father, but to be a stepfather. And buy his daughter college educations, and because didn't Shaq say, you know, he ain't gonna give his son shit, but he gonna give his daughters everything?
Right.
Yeah. Nice. Like,
so it is that thinking, you know. And then unfortunately what happens is in the dating market is women behave as if they had a fair, you know, that they both came from the same place, like, oh, we both came from the same society and we both had the same access. Nah, it's completely different, because you got to stay at home till 30, and at 17, you know, mom and dad was looking at me like, "You lazy ass nigga, get the fuck out." You know, like, yeah. So it's really not balanced. The way that we raise our sons is a lot different than the way the functioning world does, and not really to our benefit. When I say "our," I'm talking about black men and black women. You know, I mean, that's more shiftless Negroes y'all have to deal with.
All right. Shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure you hit the like button. I'm trying to see if it was another super chat that I missed. Oh, I guess no. That's still funny. That polar right there. I'm trying to pull up another. I'm having technical difficulties pulling up another clip. So if somebody else had a question or anything that they wanted to weigh in on this, I'll throw this out there. I'm sorry, what's that?
No, I have a weigh in.
Okay, go weigh in, because I'm trying to dig up another clip.
Stop making your sons fight when you ain't taught them how to fight.
What?
Fight what?
I'm talking to you fathers out there. You fathers, like, hey, the kid down the street, he twice my size and he bullying me. Son, you gotta man up to him. Motherfucker, you gotta get me to karate class like they did with Daniel's son. What the fuck is that? How come you just gonna tell you haven't taught me shit? You just gonna teach. You think that by getting my ass whooped regularly, I'm somehow gonna learn how to whoop ass? No, I'm gonna learn how to get my ass whooped. I'm gonna learn how to get comfortable, get my ass whooped. Mm-hmm. That does not work. It doesn't work. You don't develop George McFly's superpower, motherfucker. Get me MMA training.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Miyagi was a stepdaddy.
Exactly. And who was the guy that taught Mike Tyson when he was getting his young ass whooped? Like, do that. Don't just say stay outside and what the fuck? I'm talking to you black fathers.
Are you Game Changer? Are you talking to your black father? Like, did he do that to you?
It sounds personal there.
You could have been bobbing and weaving.
Oh, no. I have been in situations like that, yes. But no. My upbringing, fortunately for me, was very similar to Everybody Hates Chris. I was always able to funny man my way out of shit.
That girl was 200 pounds in the 5th grade, beating you down, huh?
You can always run from a fat bitch.
Not in the cafeteria.
Yes, you can. You just throw food and run. Like, they'll go after that first. Like, what do you mean? You throw some chocolate milk and then run. Like,
How many fat girls ate your cornbread in grade school? Just tell the truth, man.
Nah. First of all, this was the 80s. We didn't really have any like fat girls like that. But they were far more humble and they knew their place.
All right. Okay. I'm ready for the next clip. Thank you, Game Changer. We needed all of that. We definitely needed all of that.
Yes,
All right, here we go.
If the kids keep calling me
bankrupt industry from the start.
When I get married to a woman with kids, if the kids keep calling me Tuck or my name, my first name, that's disrespectful.
How?
Can I tell her that them your kids?
Well, that's what you introduce yourself to them as. That's what they know you as.
No. It's on her to then change their pattern.
If y'all are married,
right?
What do you want them to call you?
Dad. You can't tell me to be a father to those kids and not be respected as one.
I
agree with it. So like when I got
cannot,
married,
because if you believe that, I can say them your kids. So when we have kids of our own, I can treat them differently, right?
No, you can still be respected as a father figure and still be called by your name. Like my uncle, I called him Jay since I was a little baby, and my stepdad, I call him Tom because that's what my mom and him discussed.
That shit was disrespectful. Just because you do it don't mean it won't disrespectful. Okay. So we teaching our kids to say yes ma'am and no ma'am to strangers, but we can't teach them to say, oh, that's dad right there to the taking care of you. Make that make sense. They can show more respect for a stranger than the person that actually feeding them. Don't give me the duties without the title.
Let me finish.
Don't give me the duties without the title.
All right. I'm gonna go to Pilar on this. Pilar. So was that a real man? Is that a real man?
He just butthurt. But I mean, I don't think everybody needs to have a microphone. I think at the end of the day, sometimes we need to realize that it comes down to preference. He has every right to feel like he don't want to be called Tuck when if he ever takes on the responsibility of stepfather. That's his right to feel that way. Now he just needs to find a woman and a group of children, if he's going to be a stepfather, to call him dad. That's perfectly fine if that's how that's run. I don't think that it should take away from the respect level because they call you, Tuck or whatever it is that you got, that the mother and stepfather have agreed. It should not take away from the respect level. As long as they
are you telling me that nowhere in you, when you heard that, you wasn't thinking to yourself like, yes, that's the type of energy we need. We need more like them. You weren't thinking that at all.
No, I know. We need less. I just he went so hard for a thing. I feel like you got to choose your battles really wisely. I'm not saying he's wrong because I don't think he's wrong in feeling like he wants to be called dad by these children. But I'm just simply saying I don't think it's that deep. As long as these children are showing you the utmost respect and love, and you feel like the man and the king of the castle, you know, I just don't feel like it's that serious. If the mom introduces you as, okay, guys, this is Mr. Tucker, whatever, you know, name that they've introduced him as, because you have to kind of warm up to father in the eyes of these children when you become a stepfather. Just like a stepmother going into a situation, she can't, yeah, but like when you get married to this person and you are the official stepfather or official stepmother in the household, if you go to your wife or your husband and you say, hey, I'm ready for the kids to call me mom, or I'm ready for the kids to call me dad, if that's what you guys agree on, then that's what it should be. I just feel like at the end of the day, respect is more important than that. I don't think that screams disrespect because they're calling you by your name as a stepfather, especially if the other parent is still around. Like if you have a functioning relationship with the actual father, I just think it just went too deep. I don't think it's that serious.
All right. We gonna go to LAR. What you got on that? You being a non-custodial parent, you know, like I said earlier in the show, you know, condolences. You spoke candidly about how you lost the custody battle. I've been there.
I mean,
I know the feeling. Yeah, I almost got into an accident leaving the courtroom. Seriously.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, no, I did. I mean, I had to go back again and again. Eventually, I did get custody, but I know that feeling leaving that courtroom. And so yeah, condolences. But so, and I don't know the situation. You got to explain personal stuff with, you know, but you being a non-custodial parent who's still involved, I take it you have some pointed opinions towards the new dude demanding to be called daddy. So I'm gonna pass it to you on that. Go ahead. You got the floor. You got the mic.
Okay, I'm gonna keep the first part quick. The custody thing, basically, they got into it. She sent them to me. I got them right. She swooped them up and said I changed my mind because I had put in for paperwork for the custody part. But that's the second time she's done that. So that's how that happened. And the court was just like, oh, okay, she's a mother. So that's what that was. With these kind of stories, with the guys saying, these guys are stupid. They don't think this stuff through what they're saying. Because in what he's basically saying is, if I meet a woman and she has kids and I marry her, then I should be dad. But under that logic, you probably already have kids. So guess what? Your kids should be calling another guy dad if they get married. But then he's going to turn around, no, that's not how it goes. And it's like, in some ways, these guys conceded that being a stepdad is actually more responsible than a real dad because of how, I guess, the family courts work. So in my opinion, he was being stupid. Because I guarantee you, if you know, and they've had videos of guys who quote unquote stepdad, them my kids now. And it's like, bro, you about to get stomped out because them not your kids. So when he says these are my kids to the real dad, because they call me dad now, and then he goes to pick up his kids for the weekend, and they go, hey, go be with Mr. supposed to be your dad, because I'm your dad now. Then he gonna be like, what the hell going on? It's like they don't think this stuff through.
Yeah, I would agree with
that. DC, what you got on this? What you got on the video that was just played?
Well, to be fair, I'm not sure if the guy was actually demanding to be called dad. He just didn't want to be called by his first name. You know.
No. He literally said
dad.
Oh, he literally said dad.
Okay.
Yeah, they said, what are you supposed to call him? What they supposed to call you? And he said dad. So okay. Yeah.
All right. Because in that case, then I would say, how did they learn his first name? Shouldn't the mama call him daddy?
I would agree with that.
So I mean, if the mama called him daddy, then the kids would know what name to call him. Like I think that was a mistake in that part right there. You know,
that's how it was presented in the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I mean, if I were to become a stepfather or something, which is not very likely, but if I, and the odd chance that I do, in exchange for Threesome Thursdays, I would just tell the kids to call me Mr. Papadopoulos. And yeah, and Papadopoulos is not my last name. However,
isn't that from an Adam Sandler movie?
No,
you gotta have a midget son.
Mr. Papadopoulos is the father of Webster. He was the adopted father of Webster. It's the coolest name.
That was the guy that Eminem beat in the rap battle at the end of 8 Mile. When his name Papa Doc?
No, it's Papa Doc. No.
Papa Doc. Oh, I thought it was Papadopoulos. Okay, anyway. Carry on. My bad.
George Papadopoulos adopted Webster, and yeah, and even though he called him George, it was understood that he was Mr. Papadopoulos.
All right.
Why do you disagree? You don't call your significant other daddy?
Who? Me?
Who are you talking to?
Well, I think Pilar said that she disagreed with the whole daddy.
No, I said I
No,
agree.
she said she agreed.
She agreed. Okay, yeah, that's good. We agree.
No, I agree.
Hell, I mean, I damn near. Okay, it is okay. It's something weird about if the kids start calling the man daddy because they heard the mom doing it, and the context of her daddy was different from the daddy that they calling. It's like that is there are problems. There are problems there. There are problems there. I mean, you know.
No, I disagree.
You calling him Daddy, Mr. Marcus?
No, it's
those
it's the source. It's the
different
source.
daddies.
Yeah, exactly. They're different daddies depending on the source. I agree.
Yeah. Oh shit. Okay. Jackie, what you got on that? The stepdaddy, the daddy that stepped up, demanding to be called dad by the children. What you got?
I think he's basically saying that he don't want to be a stepdad because
bullshit.
No.
Stepdaddy is all he ever wanted to be in life.
No,
that man was born. That man was born. He was born to be a stepdad. That's
no. When you say
life's mission.
I demand them call me this. It's like, do you not know how this modern world works? Like, you clearly don't want to be a stepdad because you're not gonna get that unless the kid is like what 2 years old or something. Mm-hmm. If the kid is like already calling someone else dad, why would they call you dad? Like it doesn't make any sense.
Don't want to be a stepdad. It just doesn't become a stepdad. So he's like the clip started with him saying, when I marry a woman with kids, like this, it wasn't even like he was engaged to a woman with kids. He just basically just
already in
presupposing that the woman that he marries will have kids, and her kids is going to call me daddy. It's like you could already tell that.
Well, maybe he doesn't want his own kids, and that's why he's considering I'll just marry someone with kids already. But that, like I said, that's just not gonna happen.
Can he make us send back to child support?
Hold on, time out. Why you put /DM Pilar? No, just that, that ain't,
How about your men only? Okay.
And she didn't say she set up straight and gave put the titties in the shot too when she went.
It's summer dressing stepdaddy season.
Right.
All right. Anyway, what you were saying, Jackie? Go ahead.
I forgot.
Okay, you got some.
No, I'm saying that maybe
you thrown off by titties too, huh? Okay, that's interesting. Everybody coming out today. I swear, people just be giving all kinds of information we didn't know. All right,
it's a phone.
Go ahead. You were saying something. I could pass it to Brenda.
What I was saying is like he might not want to have his own kids, so that might be why he's considering marrying a woman that already has kids. So I don't get why any man in their right mind would be like, yes, give me the single mom. Like it's like
I know. I think what it is that some dudes accept that it's a given. Like past a certain age, and if they not, going for, younger, past a certain age, they operate like it's just a given. The woman I deal with, excuse me, woman I deal with is going to have kids. That's just how that's how they operate, and so they already got in their mind the rules of engagement that's going to happen for this woman that I haven't met yet and her kids that I haven't met yet. They already thinking about it like that. They don't. So I think that's what it is. I think they're not even considering that, hey, there's unchilded women out there that I could deal with.
So if it's a given that most of the women by a certain age are gonna have kids, then why don't you know the landscape of you're not gonna get called dad? You should know that then. Like you understand.
He ain't never married one. He thinks stepdaddy season comes with that much respect. And I think the respect of stepdads has been long gone. That used to be a thing. That used to be a thing. Now it's to the point where it's just expected, and they don't get no extra added respect. He said it was never respected.
Yeah. You say it used to be a thing. It never was a thing. You see.
Well, okay. It seemed like it was a time when it was respected,
because it hasn't manifested itself yet. You see, this girl is 22 years old. So let's just say that he got her when she was like 2. It took 20 years for the brewing, for the disrespect to just happen. See, now we're getting the disrespect that was, that just been brewing, like they've been scheduling, like a mutual fund, and then one day it's just gaining interest and shit. Like, yep. That is the disrespect. We're just now receiving the disrespect today that was growing from years ago. Kind of like you plant a tree, but it takes a long time for that tree to bear fruit. Now we're getting the fruit of disrespect. And to all of you, new stepdads, you're like, oh no, my kids respect me. That's because they're kids. The disrespect is brewing. And what you do is you keep your receipts so you can bitch about it later. You like every Christmas gift, every allowance payment, just add it up. Just add up how much time you spent every time you take those kids fishing and stuff. You write it down, and then when the disrespect comes, just look back at it so you can just feel shittier about your life decision of stepdaddyhood.
Bernard, do you call your stepdad dad?
My stepdad? No.
Do you call him dad? Why not?
No. I mean, that would have been weird. I was 13.
It's weird.
Yeah,
it's strange to call your stepdad dad unless you're like you're 1 or 2 years old and you don't know another dad. That's just strange. So for him to want that, it's just it's weird to me.
And for him to equate it, I think the thing for me is for him to equate that to the respect level in the household. I've seen such great functioning relationships between step parents and their kids, to the point where the kids actually esteem the step parent far and above their actual parent that was not present in their life. I've seen it so many times, and they called them Miss, whatever they called them. It was usually, very rarely was it dad or daddy, whatever. It was very rarely that, but the level of respect and love was there because this person stepped in and raised them as their own child. And when you do that in an authentic way, in a genuine way, where you're not counting coins and doing all that, kids feel that. And they, if they come from good stock, that's the key too. And the parent teaches them to be, respectful and to be appreciative of the things and sacrifices that are being made by this parent. Then it goes without saying, they're going to esteem you that way. But yeah, I think for him to equate them calling you dad to respect was just too over the top. It's just not something that's usually done. I'm not against it, but I don't think that one goes in hand with the other.
I think it's weird.
How absent do the biological dad got to be for it to even be remotely okay?
They have to not even know their dad.
Yes,
they have to not know him. Yeah.
No, so I think it just depends on the house. Again, like, I just really think it depends on the household norms. If you never teach a kid that a thing is weird, they're not going to think it's weird. If you never teach a kid that a thing is strange, they're not going to think it's strange. So if they have a great relationship with their father, and they have a great relationship with their stepfather, and the mom, stepfather, and the child sit down and they're like, hey, would you feel comfortable calling him, stepdad or dad or father or whatever? And the kid's like, yeah. Then that's period point.
Here's where
it seemed like everybody got a line somewhere where there's a certain amount of absence that will make it okay for that the kid to call the non-biological parent, the step parent, dad. It seems like everybody got a different line somewhere. That's what I was trying to figure out where the line is. Go ahead, LAR.
This is why it's crazy. Like, people.
My bad, Ellie. I didn't mean to cut you off with that one. Go ahead.
Like, people who adopt kids know that you're gonna get the "you're not my mom" or my dad speech at some point. Mm-hmm. So these stepdads are like are delusional. And past that, you really want these kids to call you dad for real? So now they're gonna call your mama grandma and your dad granddad, past the grandparents too. Like, people take the disrespect way too far. That's your auntie. No, that's not your auntie.
Did you just say they got to extrapolate it all the way up to you got to call the granddad?
Because that's what they do. That's what they do. This is your grandma. No, that's not. This is your granddad. No, that's not.
No, he has a point. That becomes problematic because
I have some. Yeah, I don't think I commented.
Your granddaddy bought you something for Christmas. That's not your granddaddy.
Yeah.
I think what is it called? To actually a comment on the clip. Okay, so here's what I think needs to be addressed, because he actually did say, like, how could your kids actually show more respect to a stranger by calling them sir or ma'am, but not respect you by calling you your first name. So it's all about addressing, right? So whenever it comes to addressing, how you get addressed, sometimes it will offend you. Like, I don't know about y'all, but like in college, if our professors earned their PhD, if we didn't call them doctor whatever, or we accidentally say, hey miss, it's not miss, it's doctor, let's say Nancy, right? And so it's not Miss Nancy. No, that's more of people who haven't earned their PhD or MD, whatever it is, doctor. And so with him, I think it's more of he's demanding the kids to call him dad. But he did say, I think what kind of make it more legit is, like, if I marry a woman with kids, I'm gonna need those kids to actually call me dad, because he's taking the responsibility and obligation. But at the same time, like, I know for a fact, whenever it comes to like having kids, one thing is biological father, biological mother. Not every mother earns the title mom, or every father earns the title dad. So it's more of earning the title. And so with him demanding the title before you even earn it, it's not going to work. Like, for example, with my dad and my mom, I still call them by mom and dad because I don't know anything other than that. But let's say if my parents were divorced and then, they remarried, I would still have to figure out how to address the other person, like whatever counterparts they're married to. And that's why, in my opinion, it's really hard to be having these mixed family, blending families. But that's why they have step dad, step whatever, or you can just call them father figures, even if they're a biological father.
Brenda just made a great point about like using the teacher. We got school age kids who know the difference between a teacher and a substitute. Mm-hmm. But we gotta go, this is daddy. This dude is daddy now. Like, if you could go to a classroom and say, yeah, I ain't never met this teacher. This is my substitute. That's like going to college and you said the professor said, I'm the professor, and the teacher's assistant said, no, I'm the professor when he's not here now. Y'all call me Professor such and such. Like, we got common sense has gone out the window.
Right.
I agree. And I agree. Like getting the kid to call somebody dad that's not their dad, and the dad is somewhere is teaching them something. Like it's teaching them that okay, you cannot do it the proper way, and then guess what? Now he's dad. It's like, come on now. No, he is what he is. He's stepdad.
Exactly that.
Make it clear.
No, you have to make it clear. Biological dad, that's your father. Like,
you know, if you reverse it, it's disrespectful to the kid.
The thing is, Brenda. I mean, when Brenda was the first person to say something like blended family. You ever notice how in these scenarios the man is always childless? It's rarely blended. It's rarely he brings his own kids to a woman with kids. It's always a woman with kids find a guy with no kids. So and that is, I think, what he's talking about, because he's like, listen, I don't have my own kids. What I want is the illusion of a traditional, family.
Exactly.
And that's what illusion.
Because outside of that, the guys are really third wheels. They are really, really, really third wheels in the relationship. And it's a chronic thing. You are living the third wheel scenario for whatever. If anything comes to a family vote, you almost indefinitely will be voted out. Yeah. And you can't, it is impossible for you to have a stronger bond with stepchildren than you do with the mother. However, it is possible for a natural father to have a stronger bond with his children than he does with the mother. So no matter what, and she knows that the children's bond is strongest to her, and the stepfather's bond is strongest to her. That is a preferred situation. They could never get together against her, and she knows it. That is why a lot of women seek step-parent situations. They seek it. So
it's a control thing.
So how crazy is it for a stepmom to say, I'm your mama now?
Extremely.
You don't see that.
I made red beans and rice. I'm your mama now. Forget your mom.
Nobody will.
Pilar, was you raising your hand or fixing your hair?
No, I was raising my hand.
Oh, she was raising. Okay, so go ahead.
It would be strange.
Somebody about to have a confession.
No, it would be strange.
I feel a confession coming.
It would be strange if the stepmother demanded it and was like, "You're gonna call me mom." Like, that would be strange. But in the event, like again, I'm standing on what I said. If in the event that the parents, the stepmother and the father, came to the understanding, and I think also to play the part as devil's advocate, I think that the other parent, the primary parent, should have a say in it too. If they were all to say, "Hey, are you comfortable with them calling Becky?" My children calling Becky mom.
Becky,
she gotta be white now.
Why she gotta be white though?
Why is Becky like the universal white name?
Y'all assume that she was white just because she said Becky.
But let's just say that, like, hey, this is something that is important to her or to me or what have you, and they've agreed on that. I wouldn't think that would be as strange as the stepmother demanding, like, no. If I'm going to be a part of this household, they better be calling me mama. That just comes off as, you came into this show already with your extreme demands, and it seemed more like a power play, so an ego boost than it does for you to actually be here genuinely because you want to be. So,
you have to earn that title.
But that's one way to look at it, Pilar. But another way is she just wants to feel like she's part of the family.
But my thing is, why can't she feel like part of the? If you come in demanding, like that young brother on the video, straight demand. He said, if I get with a woman and she's got kids, they better call me dad. Otherwise, it's if you're not feeling like part of the family, there's a deeper issue there than what you're being called.
With men,
no, that is not a deep issue. Look, you don't feel like
you're. There's a deeper issue. If you really feel like you're on the outskirts,
the issue is not. But you are on the outskirts of the family. From a biological standpoint, you are on the outskirts of the family. Bernard was 13. His mother and himself has history. They got stories. They could get together at a dinner table and say, "Hey, you remember your ninth birthday? It was so cute," and blah, 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 blah. And he's just sitting there just waiting for his turn to talk. You are an outsider. You know, you are coming into a situation. You're not creating your own situation. You want to make sure that he feels as little, especially if he's rich. You want to make sure he feels as little of an outsider as possible, because guess what? You're a biological outsider.
Okay, so hold on, wait. So are you saying you good with the kids calling him daddy?
Well, I mean, LAR brought up a point, and that is, if their biological father is in the mix, it's a case by case thing. But I don't feel under any circumstances should they call him by his first name. I do feel that there is a certain deference that's due to people, teachers, military superiors, things like that. And yeah, child to adult that's supporting you. There is some sort of deference. Maybe not dad, if the father's in the picture, but there is some. It's not cool the first name.
The thing about him being in the mix is a person who's a deadbeat and a person who's alienated are going to be treated exactly the same. You're not going to know.
Right. It depends on the dynamic.
Well, okay, this is my thoughts on the whole, like the guy who's saying, the kids got to call me daddy and all of that. I honestly believe that got more to do with him doing just a territorial display to the other man more than anything. That's more so what it is. It ain't even about the kids in respect and all of that. That got more to do with that other man who's on the peripheral, who pop up here and there, who probably pop up every other weekend and Wednesday from 5 to 8, or got the kids in the summer. Somewhere deep down, like he's thinking like, okay, this woman had a whole life with this man. When she was younger and hotter and didn't have stretch marks and C-section scars. He got issue. He got beef with him, and that's what it's about. That's why he's trying to further claim them kids more as his, as a way of taking a shot back at the previous man and to just mark territory.
Absolutely.
It's marking territory. This is why it ain't got nothing to do with the kids or respect or none of that. It got all to do with that other man.
Bernard.
One mic.
Okay, one thing.
Shut up, Jackie.
There is no
one mic, Jackie. You get one at a time. You was talking while other people were talking.
No. There's no greater mark of a territory than a living, breathing human being. So no matter what the stepdad did, the dad actually marked that territory a lot more with stretch marks, like you said. But furthermore, he marked it with his DNA coming out of that vagina that you love so much. That is the greatest marking ever. So yeah, he could try, if that's what you're saying, Bernard, he could try, but you can't mark a territory that has so permanently marked.
You remember? I know you saw the movie Campaign. I know you saw the movie Campaign with Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis. Right, you saw that, right?
I don't think I did.
Laliar, did you see that?
No.
Damn it. Okay. Those who saw it, no, it was a scene in there where he got his son to call him daddy. It was weird, but never mind.
I'm about to just be trifling to say it.
All right, go.
Most fathers don't care about this stepdaddy stuff because most of these dudes ain't stepdaddies. They're just boyfriends who saying they stepdaddies. So you the third stepdaddy I done seen in the last 10 years talking about our different kids. So it's like, bro, shut up. Like a lot of times the disrespect is about, bro, you just got here last week. This kid is 12 talking about I'm this kid's daddy now. Yeah,
I'm a protector my own.
No, it's true. No, he brings up a good point.
These women ain't married to these dudes. And,
and nor do they even want to be married to them.
James was a stepdaddy, they broke up. Keyshawn was a stepdaddy, they broke up. 5 dudes came in and smashed and they was uncles, and then you came in and now you the next stepdaddy that's finna get dumped.
I was just about to say they was uncles, then they graduated to stepdaddies. That's how that shit went.
And now they want to be daddy. Like,
and now they want to be whole daddy. For real.
And half these dudes want to be stepdaddy because they see the dad and they be like, you know what?
I want that.
I don't like this. This who was hitting it? I don't like this. Like, bro, relax. Relax.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually,
Go ahead.
Yeah. I think okay. So one thing we're definitely going to be seeing, due to the millennials having, these divorces and or children out of wedlock, we're going to start seeing more dynamic. That's why a lot of these conversations started, because some people are looking for people who have no kids, but at the end of the day, like even some of my cousins, they're not married, but they have a kid. So what happens? So now it's like, okay, now we get into more of a difficult situation of, all right, how do we introduce people into these dynamics? But it starts with definitely the mom. It starts with the parents who are actually, are you okay dating? Should you even be dating? Period. And I understand that you have your own needs, but as soon as you have, children into your life, that's you kind of become, that's your first priority. But before you can continue doing your life, are you ready for any type of challenges that come in it? Because one thing I know about, especially working with kids, middle schoolers, high schoolers, especially middle schoolers, they are very vulnerable, even if they're already understanding. But if they have too much going on, they don't even know where their real dad is. Dad is getting locked up and just came all of a sudden to pick their kid up. And it just messes the whole flow of everything. So to me, it's just, I don't know if some women should be dating if they're not stable and making those clear-cut boundaries, because it's titles, but those titles are very heavy. And some, as you can see, some stepdaddy don't want to just be stepdaddy. They want to be dad or daddy, not even daddy, dad. And so it's no.
So interesting, Brenda, you're saying that single mothers should have certain restrictions on dating?
Yes, for the sake of the kids, and especially depending on what age their kids are, because then little Johnny over here,
name the ages. What okay. I want to see.
I would say, okay, so at elementary, so I would say from,
so the kids are 5 and 6, 7, 8 years old. They shouldn't be dating.
9, 10, 11. 11 pause. So 12, 13, 14, 15.
You're just saying numbers. I'm not seeing a dividing line. You just started with with 1 and made it to 18.
No, 1 to, let's say 11.
They shouldn't be dating from 1 to 11.
No. Pause on the dating. Like, first figure out your life and actually figure out your own trauma. Figure out what you need to work on before you can get out there. And then from 12 to now 18, because now you're able to actually control the situation a little bit better of introducing, because uncle can be graduating from uncle to stepdad.
Man, so if she had them kids, she had them kids when she was 26, by your timetable, she gonna have gray hairs on her vagina by the time you allow her to go date.
Okay, I'll say introducing
the guy. Just one gray hair. Just one gray.
Just one. Yeah. No,
she might have died in line since she's a black woman.
No, introducing yourself and introducing your partners into, you can date. Okay, that's fine. You can date all whatnot, but don't bring them into the dynamic, because it's all about introducing into a dynamic. If you introduce them, kids are vulnerable. They will attach. Okay. And if you break up with them and the kids are already attached, the kids are going to get mad at you for breaking up with them. Like, it's more of like, watch attachments that these people are connecting with, and so do not test the water and, thinking that you won't slip in, and all of a sudden you slip in, and then, you're causing more chaos for your own kid.
Do we forget that part of the hustle that single mothers do is they say they're not having no more kids?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how these dudes try. Well, I'm gonna be a stepdaddy because she's saying she's not having kids with him.
But you don't know that they might change. Yeah, they're going to change their minds unless they had their tubes tied.
There's a lot of pregnant chicks who got their tubes tied.
That's an interesting point, because when I saw this clip, somebody I knew like that post. and I know his backstory, and he was actually dating a single mom, and he became like a stepdad for like years to this child. Like he helped raise them, and then they eventually had kids with each. They eventually had their own kids, and the way she was framing it as the other dad was a deadbeat and all this stuff, so he stepped up to be the stepdad, and now that he's the baby daddy, now she's framing him as a deadbeat, and
of course,
and won't let him see his kids. So, and he's still liking posts like, "You better call me dad." He's still like, after going through all of that, you get alienated from your own kids after you were a stepdad for like 5 to 7 years. Now you still liking posts that guys demanding to be a stepdad. Like you still don't get it.
And so it becomes like it goes back to what I was saying with the woman. She had to work on herself before she started dating, and look at what she's doing. The same cycle. Damage.
Well, let me ask Pilar this question. What's your thoughts on the idea, the notion that, you know, so I've heard people say that. I don't really got that much of an opinion on it. The idea that single moms should not be dating over until a period of time. Brenda threw out there till they get around 11 or 12 or something like that. What's your thoughts on that? You know, if you got a kid and everything, like is there any validity in that? I mean, I say single mothers, that they got no shortage of men trying to holler. So I mean, I think
the more important thing is to deal with, like she was saying, deal with the trauma. If there's any trauma in the household first, then start dating. I don't think it has to do with the kid's age. I'll even venture to say it's easier to date a single mother if you're going to enter in as a stepfather and those kids are very young. Because
what do you mean easier to date a single mother?
It's easier to date a single mother if you're trying to assume the role as a stepfather, and you're going to date a single mother. It's easier, speaking from experience, if those children are younger.
For programming.
And I'm saying that because if you want to step into the shoes of a stepfather,
easier on who?
And the stepfather, and you enter into the household, and these kids are 14, 15, 16. Those kids already have a notion of what they're feeling themselves.
And that's why I said,
like, you kind of look. Where you saying it? You said we got to get a stepdaddy in before the kids know who their real daddy is.
No. They can still know.
No, she did not.
No. I'm just saying, if you're young, if you're very, very young, and you know, think about it like this: there's nothing. If a child is acting out at 4 and 5, it's easier to correct behavior at 4 and 5 than it is at 13 and 14 and 15. Those foundations should have already been in place. The chances of you resolving a haywire wild child in their teens versus as a youth, different. So what I'm saying is, if you want to have a peaceful stepfather life, as peaceful as you can get it.
Well, we don't need coaching on. Well, I was asking the question purely. Hold on, real quick. I was asking the question purely from the woman's perspective. From the man's perspective, I don't know. Maybe somebody in the chat wants some stepdaddy coaching lessons. I don't think.
No, I don't think. I won't say that.
I don't need that.
I don't think I agree with the fact that you should wait to date until the kids are a certain age. You just wait to date until your household.
Yeah. You have to be aligned because those boundaries have to be really strong, because you don't want your kid to control also the situation, and you don't want the other outside person coming in control the situation. So it has to be coming from the mom, and the mom has to be healed, like with whatever she has going on. And so she has to be so strong that nobody can even shake her, whether it's her kids or the stepdad coming in.
Yeah, because kids can tell energy as well.
So
okay, I want to say this. For the guy dating a single mother, it's awful at each and every single age. Even when it's a newborn, like it's awful at each and every single age.
I mean, when the child's a baby and she comes to your house at 11 o'clock at night, she's an awful mother. If she don't come to your house at 11 o'clock at night, then she's approved. So it's a lose-lose. And Bernard and LAR, trust me, I've been through some things, and y'all know I've been violated. There is no greater violation than titty milk. Well, there is, but that's in prison. But there's no greater violation from a free man than drinking a bitch's titty milk. It was the worst 2 days of my life, and I felt disgusted.
2 days? I thought it had more protein.
No, it tastes
like mango.
It's just ridiculously sweet and nasty.
If it was a word, hold on, time out.
Wait, did you spit or swallow?
Hold on, time out. I gotta get this out.
So confused.
You gotta get this out. We gonna answer that question next, LER. If it was the worst 2 days of your life, that means you had the first day that was by itself the worst day of your life. Then you came back for another one.
No, Bernard. It was two different women. It happened twice. I got milk twice.
Did they hit you with like the titty milk money shot? Did they skeet it across your face?
No, it didn't squirt or anything. And the funny thing was, the first two, she told me that her youngest kid was 5.
Got up looking like you was on the casting couch.
No.
Oh my gosh.
It was in the car. Oh, so y'all never had it happen. Well, y'all lucky. It's awful.
No.
It's awful.
No, I never got skeeted home by some titty milk.
It's not
it sounds like
you just taste
it skeeted on.
You know that it's in your mouth. Yeah, see, y'all laughing, but no. I'm saying it's awful at every age. Like that happens when the baby is younger. It happens, and you taste it, and you know what it is, and you feel awful. You feel awful. Like I wasn't teary eyed like on Boys in the Hood, but I did cry a little bit. It's awful. You feel nasty. You feel violated.
And then you went back. It's the fact that you went back to another one.
No, I don't go out looking for like.
I don't know. You sounded like you're on a roll to
find. No, it's not on a roll. No, I'm old. These stories are like years apart.
Oh, okay.
But no, you're sucking up titties. Some of them have milk in it. And in my
did she give you a warm rag
for lectin?
No. No. The first time I just spat it on her titties, and then we was in our car, and then
it didn't. So it didn't like shoot out and get you.
It didn't shoot out.
Okay. That'd have been worse if you. I thought it was like a full cum shot. Okay.
She touched your tonsils, huh?
No, I think they do that on porn. I don't watch milk porn, but I think that's what they do there. But no, I tasted it. I didn't even see it, Bernard. I tasted it. It's awful because when you taste it, you know that you're.
I've tasted it before.
Why did you taste it?
You sound like one of the women who got that surprise skeet in her throat right now. Like,
hello.
It was a curiosity thing. I mean, it wasn't with a random. I mean, it was with my wife. She was,
Okay, well,
kids and
milk, I guess it's different. I don't
have.
It
was just a curiosity sip. Just that's it. But anyway, all right.
Can I say something?
All right. Anyway,
can I say something about the guys getting with the kids, getting with the mom when the kids are younger is better? I think it's worse.
It is because they got milk.
Not
and the babysitting stuff, like all kind of stuff. Yeah. No, I mean the babysitting situation, and it's all kinds of bad.
I think there's more work when you get with a mom that has younger kids. You have to do way more work. Because there's like younger kids require way more attention. Mm-hmm. So getting a woman that has younger kids, you're gonna have to put in a whole bunch of work, and there is a high likelihood that this relationship is not gonna last. And you're getting attached to them as young kids.
Why is there a high likelihood? I'm simply saying if a man's going to assume the role as a stepfather and he knows this is the role he is trying, there are some men that don't want to assume the role of stepdad. I'm talking about the ones that are like, man, I love this woman, I'm going to step into this role. What I'm saying is for their tasks, yes, now they're going to be harder because you've got a child. You're raising a child. But what I'm saying is, if what's that guy's name? What's Sierra's husband? Russell Wilson was to step into young baby Future's life when he was 16, let's say 15, 16. Honey, please. And he was raised by Future this whole time. I don't think that he would have been as receptive to Russell as he is now, and he's raising him as his son, and he looks at this man as his father because he was younger when he got him. That's all I'm saying. The more years you have.
All right, RM, you overusing it now. You okay? It met the quota. All right.
I think that there's some truth to what you're saying as it applies to
it is, but it's like the general advice and message and thing that I say to men is don't do the stepdaddy dance. That's just generally where I'm at. I understand there's some that's going to do it, but I mean, it's like we're talking about the good ways or the bad ways to do something that I think a man shouldn't do. So that's where the conversation kind of fall apart for me. But
well, no, this goes to my original conversation, and that is she has to make a deal that he can't refuse. And that's why I was talking about like titty too, which is just an example. But I mean,
the thing is like
threesome Thursday.
Yeah, threesome
Thursday. Yeah.
Most of these guys who play stepdaddy are shepherds for the devil because they know good and hell well that you want to play stepdaddy at the expense. Okay, fine. You want to play stepdaddy at the expense of daddy, fine. But at the expense of the grandparents too, at the expense of the aunts and uncles too. Like you a shepherd for the devil when you could say the man is a deadbeat, but if his parents is trying to see the kid and you're like, I'm the stepdaddy, they gonna see my parents. That's basically what you signing up to do. You a shepherd for the devil. You evil as hell.
You took it to hell.
It's a control thing.
She knows initially if she gets a quote unquote stepdaddy boyfriend in our community, she know that okay, well, I can say he a deadbeat, but his whole family ain't gonna see the baby. So you gonna take on my baby that's not your baby and put this baby in your family too. It's like with no common sense to say maybe all these people ain't bad and evil. And on top of that, let me say it this way: how you gonna be a stepdad and still collecting child support, and you helping being a shepherd for the devil? You're ridiculous.
That's always a weird thing to me, and I don't even want to get into it. But
well, like oddly personal that.
No,
okay. Yeah, it's just a messy situation, and that's just where we at culturally, and you know, like a man, you with a woman, this woman live in your house, another man is sending money to your house. That's flags on the play too. It's so much just not right about the whole situation, but since we're going down the path in the rabbit hole of not right stuff and trying to make sense out of it, what's your thoughts on stepdaddies whooping the kids?
Are you married?
That's when you find out he ain't the real daddy.
I feel like I feel like once you've gotten in that role and you guys are you guys are married and they need to get whooped, whoop them. That's how I feel.
Well, I'm weird because I'm against
and I'm a mom, so for me that makes me feel like not just anybody can whoop my kids, but discipline needs to be had. That's why these kids are running so ragged. It's like discipline has to be in the household. So.
Wait a minute.
Here's the weird thing.
The one that said that the women can't be whipped. Aren't you the one that said that?
One at a time. Go ahead, GC. Go ahead.
So it's okay for adult women to go around unwhipped, but don't let the kids be bad. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Look. Here's the weird thing.
That's a throwback from the last show. Game Changer was advocating for women getting spankings, and they weren't going for it, but but they want to beat the kids. But all right, go ahead, LAR.
This is why it's crazy. Daddy whipped the kids and disciplined the kids. He's abusive. Stepdaddy whipped the kids and abuse. He's stepdaddy trying to discipline the kids.
No,
This
the dad
stuff
should whip
becomes
the kids
retarded.
too. Who said that? The dad should be whooping the kids. Why is the dad not whooping the kids?
Because when daddy whips the kids, that's part of calling the police and daddy being toxic and traumatic and he's abusing the children. That's part of the whole. That's why you can't be around the kids.
No, where'd you get that? I think all parents.
That's what people use.
Should have a hand in disciplining the children, however they do that.
In a general sense, if a dad disciplines the kids, normally these moms, they use that against the fathers as abuse. They'll let the stepdaddy do it, and then go, "Oh, he's parenting."
Now I don't know of that's a backwards bitch. If I don't know of a woman who would not allow for the man who actually made the children to discipline the children unless she was trying to come up in some sort of a custody battle or something of that nature, and then turn around and let a man who walked on the scene and is digging her down whoop the kids. That's so backwards to me. But if it's happening, I feel like her head needs to be examined. That's all I have to say about that. That's weird.
Usually the kids tell the quote unquote, "You ain't my daddy." The kid will say, "You can't whip me," not necessarily the mother.
Yeah, but who cares what the kid says? The kid is obviously
exactly. So the mother will co-sign it, but
she don't need to be with anybody. That's the thing. You don't have control of your household. If you don't have control of your household, you don't need to be dating. Period. So if you allow the child to be reigning and running things because they're in their feelings because they don't like the fact that they got an F or was cussing in the back room and cousin's not allowed in your household, now you're not my daddy, kid needs to be smacked. That's how I feel about it. But if you don't have a lockdown on your household as a mother or a father or whatnot, you are not in a mature mindset. You are not in a solid enough space to be dating because now you're bringing someone else into that chaos. No.
The interesting thing about that is this whole situation, the stepdaddy thing, it's basically disrespect being incubated and expected to end in a respectful situation. Only thing that normally ends out of these situations is disrespect because it starts disrespectfully, it's cultivated disrespectfully, and the kids come out being disrespectful because all of the parents in there are going to be going at it. So it's not going to end well regardless.
Yeah, definitely not in that scenario. It's not going to end because the kid is running the house. At the end of the day, you may as well just let the kid be. It's like that's backwards. That's backwards. Your kid should not be calling the shots in the household at all.
Who's running the house, the man or that woman? If I think of her, what you say, Pilar, that woman got to basically give her blessing on what that man can do with the kids that you're now asking him to raise. So it's like he's never really truly running the house if his ability to run it is coming from the woman in her.
Well, no, I was answering what he was specifying. What I thought I heard was that in the event that the kid is saying, "You're not my daddy, you can't whoop me," and then the mother then goes back, "Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you shouldn't be." She's not even running the house.
Because the kid is running the house.
The kid is she's operating out of emotion for the child.
When you hear people in our community say we need more father figures and mentors in the Black community, they're asking for people outside of that kid's father to come in and discipline that kid in the general sense.
That's interesting.
So
I think so. I think so too. I have to agree with LAR on this one. Because like with my like I have actually two scenarios, and during that time I was working in a lower socioeconomic place for my dancers or whatnot, and there were two things. Yes.
an urban development unit of lower socioeconomicness of
in other words, there were a lack of fathers in the house because it showed so much. And I think that middle school, I'm not, if I can remember correctly, they had rules of you can't have your cell phone out. I'm not sure if they had metal detectors, but anyway, that's not the point. The point is there were no fathers in the house, and if there were fathers in the house, unfortunately, like and these are females. Unfortunately, the daughters would disrespect them, and sometimes their dads will, especially being in the house, will have to work outside the house for a long period because they're either military and African American. They're either military and they ended up remarrying a stepmom, and they're having a harder time adjusting with the stepmom. And for this one young lady, I told her she has to work with her stepmom because, and it's mainly communication. Everything has to do with communication. And she wasn't getting her homework done. So of course she wasn't dancing. So I was like, why are you failing? And so all I had to do is just figure out where the scenario was. And her biggest thing was mainly, she didn't know how to balance, how to be a little bit more respectful and vocalizing, I need to do my homework, because if I don't do my homework, I cannot dance because, no pass, no play. And so I just told her, as soon as your stepmom comes, she has an expectation of you being ready to go, because, y'all have so much to do. And so what you need to do is just be able to take your homework and let her know, like, is it okay if I do my homework? So communication. And all of a sudden, whenever dad came back from working, they are having a better family dynamic. But it was me trying to figure out where to help her, because at the end of the day, that's a young lady who has a dad in her life. And there's another one who didn't like her dad, how he was dictating. I was like, but at the end of the day, you have to do your chores in order to come to practice. So your dad is right at the end of the day, because, he's trying to look out for you. And he's like, well, yeah, but I know he wants me to even be, I have to take care of my siblings. Da, 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 da. I was like, yeah, exactly that. He's trying to prep you, for a future. And so dads can actually discipline without actually whooping. And so, but the discipline has to be structure. It's all about structure. And most of the dads who were in the house were military based. So the kids didn't understand. It's like, why is my dad being so hard? No, he's trying to just make sure his house is structured. And so whether it's stepmom or, biological mom, there's a structure. And unless we give our African-American fathers that priority, they have to be able to actually be present in order to do that. But if the woman keeps on manipulating the situation, and apparently all the dads are deadbeat, the problem is her. So it goes back to the mental thing and the trauma thing.
Oh shit! LAR just threw something out there in the private chat. Hey, you can just interrupt when you got something like that to say. But he says the majority of these stepdads are move-in homosexuals.
No, it's true.
Get out of there. Go ahead, LAR. You can speak on that. We about to wrap it up. Go ahead, LAR. You can speak. You can take us home with that one.
Yeah, I'm just saying, most of these guys they pit bulls with a hefty bag. Like, they know they got to do whatever she say, or they gonna be out on the streets. They got to toss some salads, act like they the real dads. Keep your hands off the Capri Suns and fall in line. So of course, these guys, you gonna call me daddy. They need some kind of power in the household. Like, if he take one too many honey buns, he hitting the street. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, like, these aren't necessarily stepdads. They're a step away from being homeless. So you gotta fight for your right to live.
That's true. You gotta demand better.
Oh shoot, that's funny. That is too funny. All right. We about to wrap this on up. I don't even want to do final words because they could take too long, but keep it quick. LAR, them was LAR's final words. Go ahead, GC. Final words on stepdaddy season. The alpha stepdaddies. I didn't even use that term today, but that's what I call them, the alpha stepdaddies who be chest beating about that stepdaddyism. But go ahead, GC. What you got?
So the stepdaddy situation is one that a man should avoid at all costs. The only scenario where I feel that it should be warranted is if this particular stepmother is offering you something that no childless woman is offering you. That's the only way I could see it being advantageous. And the thing that she offers you has to be in such an abundance to where you can overlook the fact that you're taking care of an entire human being for life. You know, in exchange for receiving whatever it is she offers.
So it's an acceptable deal to stepdaddy it up if you gotta do a standard, you know, flipping float threesome Thursday, something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like a deal or an arrangement that a woman without children wouldn't agree to, but you know, a single mother is agreeing to. You know, she's going to have to kick in, like to she has to sweeten the deal, because by itself the deal is sour as hell.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. We going to Brenda, and keep it short, Brenda. You be long-winded. Oh yeah, and Aaron, we got to keep your hand on the land the plane trigger when Brenda starts talking. I don't know how you ain't never used it on Brenda.
Well,
you use it on Ed every chance you get, but Brenda just sit there and give a whole Oscar speech, and you
every time I leave, I leave a show. I have too much to say by the time I come back.
We gotta get the Oscar music for Brenda.
Yeah, definitely the stepdaddy. Well, what did Game Changer say?
You just giving your final words.
Yeah, no. Don't do it too messy of a dynamic unless you're stable and you can't be budged. Like, and don't invest in something that you're going to feel awful about. Don't.
All right.
Don't invest your emotions as much.
All right, go ahead, Jackie. Your turn.
All I'm gonna say is
no.
Give her 2 words.
Right. Hey, I gotta land the plane that quick. But all I'm gonna say is, if a guy, I don't know why a guy would be determined to get with a single mom. I don't know why. I can see if you just into a woman, but just saying I need to go for that single mom. I don't get that. But if you're determined to be with a single mom, just don't believe everything that this mom is saying about the other dad. Please don't do that, because you're gonna end up with some kids with her, and you realize, like, oh, now I'm the problem, like the other guy was the problem. So that's all I'm gonna say. Just walk into it knowing that you know everything they tell you.
Nobody needs your advice. All right.
If you're determined to be a stepdad, just know.
Oh my! All right, now I'm for real this time. All right. We're gonna pass it to Pilar. You can go ahead.
Captain
Cisco. No, I'm trying to wrap it up. Captain Cisco in the building, $2 super chat. Do appreciate that. He said Johnny Lawrence. Don't know who that is. Had the best stepdad situation. I don't know who that is, but thanks.
He's the villain from Karate Kid, the first one that the Karate Kid fought, and now they have a new show, Cobra Kai.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Cool. All right. Pilar, your final words.
I was gonna say, if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna step into it, just know who you're dealing with. Know who you're dealing with. Don't get pussy whipped, hypnotized, all that nonsense. Know who the heck you're dealing with before you enter into the seriousness of it, because it's not to be taken lightly. That's all I've got to say about that.
The goal is to pussy whip, but they'll give advice. Don't get pussy whipped. I'm gonna try to pussy.
Just a taste. Just give me some room. Hey. Okay, the door's gonna slam about now.
But Pilar said she likes simps, though. Isn't that the equivalent to pussy whip?
Yeah, but I'm not gonna marry one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow!
You just know what you're dealing with.
I said we better quota with that one, but all right. What else? All right, we getting up out of here. I'd like to thank everybody for coming on through. Do appreciate each and every one of you. Excellent show. Thank you to the panel. Thank you to everybody that supported the stream. Appreciate each and every one of you. And we are out of here. Peace.
Bye.
We go, Jackie. You do not know how to do it. Oh my goodness, you doing it? I think Jackie actually did it.
I got it.
You finally did it. That's been your little gang sign for like the last 3 months, and you finally got it right. Okay. All right, we out of here, y'all.